Members, we will now move to a tribute for Mr. Kansen Chu. We will begin with Ms. Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez, you are recognized.
Kansen, you know, I was honored and a little surprised when I got the call to ask if I would do your tribute, and then I realized it was really because of Daisy, not you, right? So for those of you who don't, I'm joking, of course. For those of you who don't know Kansen's better half, I've had such an opportunity to not only get to know Kansen, but his strong, brilliant wife, who I don't think of any other spouse that I've been able to get to know in that way, and I've really appreciated knowing both of them. I supported Kansen before I knew him. There were two Democrats running. You usually try to stay out of that. But he had such glowing reviews from people who had worked with him for so long. People in San Jose in the labor community, people who had served on the city council with him. And they just said, Kansen is a stand-up guy. He is a guy who will give you his word and be there. He's the kind of guy you don't have to look twice and say, are you sure? And I think in this house and in politics in general, that's an incredible quality to have. Someone who you're not checking back with. You just know Kansen solid. And when he got here, it proved to be true. Right away, I actually didn't serve on the labor committee, but so many of my bills went through there, and I'd check in with Kansen, and he'd say, yeah, I'm fine. And he'd be fine, never have to check again. But then one day, I had a bill on the floor that he had already voted on. He had been fine. He might have even been a co-author on. And it was tough. It was stuck. I was taking amendments to try to get it where it was. And so then I went back and I think I have the votes. We sat over there at the time. And Kansen walked up to me, and I'd just gotten to 41, and we were about to take it back up off call. And he said, oh, I can't vote for your bill. And I was like, what? Kansen, you already voted for it. Like, what are you talking about? I took all these amendments. It's actually easier to vote for. He's like, nah, you took too many amendments. It doesn't mean anything anymore. I'm not going to vote for your bill. And I looked at him, and I started laughing. He's like, no. And then I was like, oh, my gosh, I don't have 41 bills. And then, of course, he starts laughing. He thought that was the best joke ever. Greatest joke. From that day on, every day I had to ask Kansen, are you telling me the truth? Because, I can't tell. But I saw him grow as a legislator as well. And this may sound petty, but from the day I was elected, I really wanted to do a time change bill. As a parent, I hate time change, and my staff wouldn't let me do it. They just said, no, you know, it's too big, there's too many moving parts, you can't change daylight savings time. And then one day, out of the blue, Kansen announces he's gonna try to take on daylight savings time versus the time change. So I was a little jealous, and I went to Kansen. He said, you can be my co-author. Okay, good, we're gonna do this proposition we had to go through. It's still waiting, don't worry, I'll bring it up next year again. But Kansen immediately says, oh, I have media on it, so you go do the TV. I don't want to do the TV. And I said, no, Kansen, it's your bill. It's a big bill. You're going to have a lot of media on it. And I've watched him get more and more comfortable talking about the bill on TV and doing a great job of selling it, so much so that year the proposition about time change was, in fact, the most popular proposition on the ballot. It won in every single county. So watching him grow and really become a legislator committed to what he was doing. And the other thing I'd say a lot of us before COVID understood is I went to Kansen early. Actually, Phil Ting had told me, is Kansen taking you Chinese food? And I said, I don't even know. I mean, I've never gone to real Chinese food. So I asked Kansen if he'd take me to Chinese food. And he said, oh, yeah, I have a place. But it became not just like everything Kansen did. It wasn't just, he wasn't going to take me. He took like 16 of us to Chinese food. And it became a tradition. Every year, Daisy and Kansen would bring us out to a restaurant, and we wouldn't ask what we were eating, and we would just eat real Chinese food, an introduction to what was real. And every time I've asked him, like, can you tell me how to order that when I'm on my own, he refuses, so he knows that I'm going to show up every time he invites us to real Chinese food. I'm going to miss Kansen, because Kansen proved to be everything everybody told me he would be. Solid, great values, and I had no idea I'd get to meet such a fantastic woman that serves as really his partner. And as a duo, Daisy and Kansen have done so much good for so many people, and will continue to do that, I know, when Kansen becomes a supervisor. But I'd say if we could all leave this place with people saying, they told me that your word meant something. Coming in, they told me that your word would always mean something and that you would be honest, loyal, clear, and to actually have that be done at the end of the day without gripe. That's what you're leaving with. I've appreciated our friendship and appreciate the friendship our spouses have had and our ability to continue that. And I look forward to being taken to real Chinese food in San Jose as well. So thank you, Kansen Chu. You will be missed.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Dr. Quirk, you are recognized.
Well, there have been many surprises working with Kansen. Kansen? Right? Yes. There have been many surprises working with Kansen. The biggest one is I found out he was my identical twin brother. This all happened because his district is immediately south of mine. And when he was running, I went down, he asked me to give him my endorsement, and I went and talked to him. And I realized that we shared the same values. And in fact, when you look at our voting records, they're almost identical. When you look at the places we serve, we split the city of Fremont, we split what's known as the Tri-Cities, which are the 3 cities in Washington Township and Alameda County. And we, of course, are both great progressive Democrats. Very proud of being that and very proud of my relationship. And when we go to meetings in the Tri-Cities, we stay together like Siamese twins because we do stand for the same things, because we do care about the people in our districts, because we do care about the people in the state. He's going on now to, I hope, be a supervisor in Santa Clara County. Supervisor is a great job, but what you're dealing with there are the people who get lost, the people who are low income, who need medical help, who need counseling of various types. You're helping the people who are getting lost in the system. And I know Kansen, and I know what's in his heart. And I think he will make an excellent supervisor. I will miss him dearly. We are getting a good replacement, Alex Lee, but I'm going to miss Kansen very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Quirk. Mr. Kansen Chu?
Well, thank you, Ms. Speakers and members. Thank you, my twin brother, Bill Quirk, and sister from San Diego. Just wanted to share with kind of my office an internal secret. I remember the first committee meeting that I attended was in the Labor Committee. And then there was a member presenting the bill, trying to give all the employees that have to work on holidays, New Year and Christmas, a double pay. You know, I was sitting there and say, wow, she speaks my language. Because when I had a restaurant, I always pay my staff on Chinese New Year's, you know, more than double, because we have to give them the red envelope as well. Say, wow, I say, that's really, really great. And then I saw how Lorena present that bill with so much passion. After the meeting, I went to my office, shut the door. I told all my staff and say, make sure that I never voted on the opposite side of Lorena Gonzalez. So I hope my staff kept me straight throughout the 6 years. It's really been an honor to serve with all of you. Many of you may know that I came to California as a graduate student with 2 luggage full of textbooks, few $100s in my pocket, and doesn't even speak the language. And to be able to join all of you here in this chamber to work on business that will not only affecting the 40 million California now, but will also the future California. It's such a great honor. It was such a great experience. Lorena mentioned about my wife, so I want to definitely start out by thanking my wife. Somebody might disagree, that's really my better half. You know, we've been married for 44 years. It's always been there for me. It's a friend, it's a family, and the love of my life. I also want to thank my mother, 98-year-old, for her understanding. Even with the little time that I have in the district, she now has to compete with my grandchildren. So she's really being such a wonderful, understanding mother. So blessed. I'm definitely very proud to represent a very diverse community. 64% of my constituents are immigrants. Any given time, there's 80 different languages are spoken, and there is a high percentage of Asian Americans. And this is a really good opportunity to represent them and to give them a voice at the table. I could not have done that without the support and the trust of my constituents. And I have very proud to say I have won the last 13 campaigns from the school board all the way to the assembly in the last 20 years. And I want to definitely have a shout out for all of my members here, you know, for your friendship, your kindness, your patience, and I just learned so much from all of you, and this is really a very remarkable experience for me. I definitely wanted to thank my seatmate, Mr. Bonta here. You know, if you don't like some of the vote I took, you can blame it on Bonta. He may be pushing the wrong button for me. So I wanted to thank the speaker and his leadership team, you know, my majority voters, and Kevin and all of you, and the whips. Where are all the whips? Ta Gloria, and they were really making this meeting a little bit go really smooth, and especially sometimes inject some of the jokes there. You know, I really wanted to take this opportunity to thank the speakers and his team and his staff. And I'm very positive that under his leadership, working with all of you, you will lead California out of this terrible time, the wildfires and the pandemic. Definitely wanted to thank my staff, both Capitol office and the district office, and especially my Chief of Staff, Annie Pham. She was a refugee. She came to the United States at a younger age. She really understands and embracing the different cultures that we're having in California. She's been putting more than 100% during this pandemic with 2 school-age children at home, and also have a sick mother in Los Angeles. So I want to really thank Annie for your hard work, your intelligence, and keep me straight on track most of the time, not all the time. I know it's a very challenging job for you, but thank you very much. I want to also thank the floor staff for helping us, in the last 6 years I was here, and the sergeants to keep us safe. I want to thank the janitors, the janitor who always came in to my office with a smile and keep our office clean and healthy. I will miss so many things in this place, and I really will cherish the relation I have built and the kindness of many who have shown to me. I want to ask you to remember me as a young graduate student. I do dress like you, but who came here with nothing, with really nothing. I want you to open your arms to those newcomers, because you may not know. Someday they could be your colleague. So, and I also wanted to remind you to switch your clock in November. I'm counting on Jay to go to the Congress and make that uniform time zone change. And I'm counting on Lorena to put a bill through again, so I don't have to change back and forth. Anyway, it's really a great honor to serve with all of you. And to all those outgoing members, I want to wish them all the best of luck. And I saw Gloria here, she's being a whip. If I were have your job as a whip, just calling everybody on the floor, I will never give up that position to run for supervisor. Run for mayor. But I want you to best of luck, and thank you very much. This has been a rewarding experience, and I want to thank you very much for your patience. Thank you.